Yeah, of course, this is ridiculous, ma'am.
We are on the record in 2024 TR 2964, State of Kansas versus Andravadon Patel. Jared Regier for the state. The defendant appears in person and pro se. We are set for bench trial. The state has charged that the defendant was driving without insurance or proof of insurance on November 9th of 2024 in Butler County. The defendant denies that allegation and apparently says he did have insurance at that date and time. So are we still ready to proceed, Mr. Regier?
There are one or two other housekeeping matters, Your Honor, but beyond that, the state is prepared to proceed.
Mr. Patel, are you ready to proceed with your trial?
Yes, ma'am.
And you still maintain that you did have liability insurance, correct?
I did.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state is prepared to proceed to trial, Your Honor, and would waive opening statements at this time.
All right. Please call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Trooper Buck Herbert to the stand.
Please raise your right hand, sir. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Would you please state your name for the record?
Trooper Buck Herbert
Where are you employed?
with the Kansas Highway Patrol.
And what is your professional title with the Kansas Highway Patrol?
I am a state trooper.
Were you on active duty in your professional capacity on November 9th, 2024 at approximately 9:13 p.m.?
Yes.
At that time, where were you at?
I was traveling eastbound on K254 highway,
Okay. Do you recall what mile marker you were at approximately?
approximately milepost 14.
And when you were, say, traveling eastbound, were you in a vehicle of some kind?
Yes, I was on a marked patrol car,
Okay. How many lanes, if you recall?
2 in each direction,
Okay. And what are these two directions that you're referring to?
eastbound and westbound.
Trooper, are you familiar with KSA 43104?
Yes.
And what does that require drivers in Kansas to present to law enforcement upon demand?
Proof of liability insurance.
And is that an optional request to the best
No.
of your knowledge?
No, it is not.
Okay. So is it your testimony today that the mandate about drivers in Kansas providing liability insurance is mandatory to all drivers?
Correct.
Okay. Trooper, do you consider yourself capable of identifying traffic violations when you see them?
Yes.
Besides your approximately 7 years of experience that you had referred to, do you have any other past experiences or special training that enables you to identify traffic violations on site?
No, just my training.
Okay. On November 9th, 2024, at approximately 9:13 p.m., did you personally see any acts that you consider traffic violations?
Yes.
What did you see?
I had a minivan pass me. I was traveling in the right lane. He was traveling in the left lane and came up behind me and passed with his bright lights on.
Okay. Now, how did you observe this minivan if it was 9:13 p.m. in November?
Coming up behind me in the mirrors.
Okay. And is it your testimony that when you observed this minivan, it's I think you said its bright lights were activated?
Correct.
Do you recall the model, the make and year of this minivan that you observed?
It was a Chrysler Town and Country Pacifica, and it was a 2017.
Okay. And do you recall the color of this particular Chrysler?
I believe it was maroon.
Okay. Did you ever conduct a traffic stop on this Chrysler?
Yes.
Where did this traffic stop take place?
Shortly after I saw the violation. I don't recall exactly what milepost it was at.
Okay. Once you conducted the stop, did you personally speak to the driver of the Chrysler?
Yes.
Do you see the driver of the Chrysler present in the Zoom conference?
Yes.
Could you please point the driver out and give a brief description for the court?
He's on the video for court security 3. It looks like a white background, some black object in the top left. He's got gray hair on the sides and bald on top, wearing a black shirt.
Your Honor, let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
It shall so reflect.
Trooper, did the defendant ever provide you with any official identification?
Driver's license.
Okay. And do you recall what state this driver's license was out of?
Kansas.
Okay. Did you ever ask the defendant whether they had proof of insurance on the Chrysler?
Yes.
How many times, if you recall?
I don't recall.
Okay. Did the defendant ever provide you with proof of insurance on the Chrysler during the stop?
No, he never provided me a proof of insurance on the stop. I believe he said that it was on his desk or his table at home.
Okay. Did the defendant ever provide you with proof of insurance on the Chrysler at any time after the stop?
Not to my recollection, no.
Okay. Barring any redirect, no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Patel, you can ask questions of the officer based on his testimony. It is not your chance yet to testify as to what you have to say, but if you have questions and only questions about his testimony, you can ask Trooper Herbert at this time. Do you have questions?
I really don't have any questions, but
Well-
yeah, but I had the proof of insurance.
All right, we'll give you a chance to present that. But if you don't have any questions of the trooper, the state will move to its next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. If I may proceed.
Please do.
Your Honor, the state calls Gina Panatex to the stand.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Very well. Please proceed, Mr. Regier.
Would you please state your name for the record?
Gina Panatex,
And where are you employed?
State Farm Insurance,
Okay. And in your capacity with State Farm Insurance, what is your professional title?
Underwriting Team Manager.
Okay. Are you a records custodian for State Farm Mutual Automobile Insurance Company?
Yes.
Okay. And how long have you worked as a records custodian for State Farm Mutual Automobile Insurance Company?
I've been with the company 36 years, so about 26 years in the leadership capacity.
Okay. And are you familiar with the records of State Farm Mutual Automobile Insurance Company in your ordinary course of business?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, I respectfully request leave of the court to share my screen.
Leave is granted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Panatex, do you see the document on the screen?
Yes, I do.
Do you know what kind of document this is?
Yes, this is to certify that the request that they asked was to verify that the coverage was in force at that time.
Okay.
Yes.
And are you familiar with these types of documents in your regular course of business?
Yes.
Okay. What is the title of this document?
Certified policy record.
Okay. Do you see a stamp for State Farm Mutual Automobile Insurance Company on this page?
At the top of the letterhead.
Okay. And when you say letterhood, is this would you consider this type of document an ordinary business record?
Yes.
Okay. Scrolling down a little bit, do you see a signature on this page?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see the name and the professional title of the signer of this document?
Yes.
Okay. What is the name and professional title of the signer of this document?
Underwriting Team Manager.
Okay. And the name?
Gina Panatex.
Okay. Is that your name and professional title?
Yes.
And is that your signature?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to admit the defendant's State Farm Mutual Automobile Insurance Company certified policy record as State's Exhibit 1.
Any objection to that? Hearing none, State's Exhibit 1 will be admitted.
Ms. Panatex, Do you see a date at the bottom of your signature line on this document?
Yes,
What is that date?
April 9th, 2025.
Okay. And this April 9th, 2025 date, is that before or after November 9th, 2024?
After.
Okay. Scrolling up slightly. Ms. Panatex, does this document identify the policy number of any State Farm mutual automobile insurance policy?
Yes,
Okay. What is this policy number as indicated on the document?
A.
Okay. Does this document identify the full name of any State Farm mutual automobile insurance policyholder?
Yes.
Okay. And what is that policyholder's name?
Indravatan Patel.
Okay. To the best of your knowledge, is your insurance agency holders of any other insurance policies involving this individual?
I'm not aware of that. I don't have record of that.
Okay. Just a few more questions, Ms. Panatex. Do you see the paragraph beginning with the phrase "the policy"?
Let's see. Say that again. I'm looking at.
Ms. Panatex, on this document, do you see the paragraph beginning with the phrase "the policy"?
I'm looking for that. Okay. Yes, there it is. The policy
Okay.
was canceled.
Would you please read this paragraph for the court?
Yes, this policy was canceled effective September 1st, 2024.
Okay. And this September 1st, 2024 cancellation date, is that before or after November 9, 2024?
Before.
Okay. Ms. Panatex, is it your testimony today that that this particular insurance policy, as evidenced by the certified policy record, was canceled before the November 9, 2024 date and was confirmed by you after the November 9th, 2024 date?
Correct.
Gardner and Riedrich, no further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Patel, if you have questions of this witness about her testimony, you can ask them at this time.
Yes, Your Honor, when the renewal came,
Objection, Your Honor, testifying on cross.
You'll get a chance to testify later, sir. This is if you have any questions of this witness, questions that she can answer for you.
oh, okay. Well, I was hoping that the agent was going to be in the court.
Well, you
instead,
could
but
have,
she's not here.
did you subpoena her?
No.
Well, then she probably wouldn't know to be here. But this is an official records custodian of your insurance agent's company. If you have any questions for her.
Well, as soon as I got the notice from State Farm.
Objection, Your Honor, testifying on cross.
You can ask her about the notice, but don't tell her what you did unless it's to ask her if you called or if you did what you said. You can ask her questions, but you're not to testify yet. Do you understand? Do I maybe need to explain a little bit the difference?
Yes,
between
please.
All right. A question is you can ask her what she did, or if she knows what you did, but you can't tell her. Because that's a statement like you would make when it's your turn to testify. Like Mr. Regier was saying, do you see that? What does it say? What is this document? Those would be the kind of questions that he asked. And then if you want to follow up with questions, you can do that.
Yeah, that's correct. Correct statement
Okay.
from her.
All right. You don't have any questions from her?
No.
All right. Then I don't really want to excuse you yet, Miss Panatex, you may come up later in this case.
Okay.
So if you could stay just a little longer.
I will.
Thank you. Mr. Regier, any further evidence?
Your Honor, as a preliminary matter, does the court wish the state to stop sharing its screen at this time?
That would be, well, yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, the state has no further witnesses.
All right, state rests.
The state does so rest, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Patel, the state says they've presented all the evidence they're going to, and now if you want to present any evidence, you can. Now would be a time if you want to make statements, you can do that. But I do have to give you an oath. You don't have to make statements if you don't want to, but you can if you want, or you can call other witnesses if you want.
Well, I don't have any witnesses.
All right, do you want to testify on your own behalf? Again, you don't have
Yes.
to. Okay, then please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Very well, thank you, sir. Please proceed to tell me your name.
I'm Indravardhan C. Patel. I'm from 1111 East Central Avenue in El Dorado. I've lived there for 47 years.
All right, and you're the defendant charged with driving without liability insurance in this case?
Yes,
All right, so you appear to agree that you were driving on November 9th of 2024. Is that true?
that's correct.
And were you at the location the officer said you were?
Yes.
Okay, but you have entered a plea that you're not guilty. You want to tell me why you're not guilty? Or anything you want me to say? It's whatever you want me to hear, anything you want to say.
Yes, I had the copy of the insurance with me, and initially I talked to my agent, Valerie Bean, and I told her that how come so insurance went so high up? It was nearly $134 extra from the previous year or previous 6 months. So I was not very happy about that, and I consulted with her over the phone, and she said she
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
We can't get into what she said unless she's here today. You can say what you told her, but not what she said.
I'm telling you what I told her over the phone.
Okay, just stop.
And
But don't tell me what she said.
okay. And no, the thing is, she on over the phone, she says, I'll look into it.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
All right. So she told you something over the phone, and then what did you do?
And she never called me back on this
Okay.
issue. Okay.
Now, when did you have that call? Was that
And-
before? Was that before or after November 9th of 24?
Before.
Okay, go ahead.
And then when after all this happened, the stop and the officer gave me a ticket. I went again to her office personally, into her office, and tried to talk to her about renewal and new rate and all that. But she was busy that night, that evening around, I think around 3:30 or so. She was being busy. So she told me that, look, I am
Objection,
not.
Your Honor. Hearsay.
Hearsay, yeah, it is a hearsay, but I'm telling you what experience I had with her.
She was not able to look into what you wanted that night. So did you leave?
No, listen, Judge, that she told me that, look, I'm very
Honor.
busy, whatever she's
I'm
doing.
Honor.
going to allow it to a point, Mr. Regier. Go ahead, sir.
Your Honor, the state would lodge a continuing objection to hearsay on the record at this time.
I will so note.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let him go a little further.
Okay, and then because she was busy, she couldn't do anything or that evening or that afternoon. And she told me she's going to call me back next day. I said, okay, then I'll wait for her call, and she might do something about the insurance, you know. Like, and
This was after you.
I've been with State
No,
Farm for a long time,
Hang on,
and
hang on,
okay,
sir, wait a minute. So this time you're talking to her, was that after you got the ticket?
that's correct.
Okay. And you
That's
went in
correct.
there to do what?
Uh, and
What was your
what-
reason for going in there?
going to either correct the amount I was supposed to pay, and I was willing to renew the insurance and all that. But and she told, because she was busy, she could not do anything that evening or that afternoon. And then she told me that, look, Mr. Patel, I'll call you tomorrow or next day, which is, and she never called me. So because she never called me, I waited for a couple of days. I thought she would maybe be busy or whatever. I waited and waited, and she never called me. So I thought I better start looking for insurance elsewhere. And that's what happened. I started looking and I got about 5 places I went to with David Matthews, who does Progressive, and another company I went to is American National, and then I went to Jack Insurance Company.
Your Honor,
Finally,
objection, relevance.
finally, I found out.
Your Honor, the state is requesting
All
your
right,
ruling.
stop. Okay, stop. Okay. The issue for me to decide today, Mr. Patel, is whether you had valid, active insurance at the time the officer stopped you on November 9th, 2024. Whether you went out and got insurance after the fact is what Mr. Regier just called not relevant. That doesn't help me, the decision. The
Yeah, but
decision
before
has to
Judge,
be November 9th.
but before that, I did call her, and she never called me back.
All right, so she did not call you back and you never did come to terms with what you should pay for your insurance? Is that what you're testifying to?
Yes,
Okay. And
it was $134 more than previous 6 months, which is very high for me. On one vehicle, I hardly drive, I hardly had any accidents or nothing, no claims, nothing. And she kept telling me that the insurance will be reduced the next time you come. But instead of reducing, it went up
okay,
by $134.
all right. But again, keep your focus on
And
whether or not
that was my objection to her. And I called her. I said, why you increase so much, you know? And she had no answer for it. And she says, okay, I'll look into it, and never call me back. What she looked into it. And then the second time I went was I personally went to her office and trying to defend my insurance rate, you know. But she didn't do. And then again, same time she was busy, and she told me that, look,
right.
I'm very
Well,
busy right now.
all of
I
that,
can't do
sir.
anything, and I'm going to call you next day. And she never called me next day, and never heard from her at all.
Was she
Till
with
today, she has not called me.
was she with State Farm Insurance?
State Farm Insurance, yes. And I've been the insurance with her for a long time on
Okay,
record, and not a single claim, and hardly drive the vehicle.
all right, Mr.
You won't believe this, Judge. There is a 2017 vehicle. Is only that time it was about 18,000 miles. That's it.
Your Honor,
Since 2017,
Well,
I hardly drive. No
Mr.
claims,
Patel, I
nothing.
need to shut you down there a minute.
Okay.
Mr. Regier may have questions. Mr. Regier, any questions?
no questions, Your Honor, although if this court is going to continue to allow this line of questioning, the state would further allow a continuing objection on the grounds of relevance in this matter.
Sustained.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Patel, I'm hearing, was there anything else you wanted to offer, sir? Any evidence?
Yes, can you imagine? I've been here in this city for 47 years. How can you believe that I can have no insurance? But this agent, Valerie Bean, she let me down by not renewing and not telling me. Okay. She kept telling me, I'll
All right.
look into it, but no answer from her. I've been
Okay,
trying. 47 years. I've had so many vehicles for my daughters, for my wife, and everybody else.
well, sir, I don't want to be rude,
I've had insurance
but
and
I'm gonna have,
never failed to pay.
all right, and I understand that, sir, and I'm gonna have to stop you there. Because we do have some others that are set for trial too, and I've heard your position, and it sounds like we're just going over it again. So if you have no other evidence, Mr. Regier, have you any other evidence, any questions of him?
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, so now I need everybody to stop talking and let me talk for a minute uninterrupted. What I have heard from the evidence is that you were stopped by Trooper Herbert on the highway in Butler County, November 9th, 2024. When he asked for your liability insurance, you did not have it because your insurance agent had let you down. You'd been with her for many years. You'd always paid your insurance. You'd had a lot of coverage or policies because of your daughters, your wife, and yourself. But when you got your bill before November 9th, that seemed unusually high. You went into the insurance company and asked them, why are they raising it? The lady said she'd get back to you, and she didn't.
Exactly.
And so you never got around to paying your insurance. In other words, renewing it because you were waiting on her to get back with you and see if the amount was right or if it should be lowered or could be lowered. In the meantime, you're driving around without renewing your insurance, and thus you had no insurance. And when Trooper Herbert asked for it, you couldn't produce it because you didn't have it. And then you went back to your insurance agent, and she still didn't give you a satisfactory answer. But by then, it was basically too late. You had been driving without insurance. So I do have to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I'm going to order a $300 fine with 108 court costs. I'm going to order a 120-day suspended sentence. You won't have to serve that if you comply with a 6-month non-reporting probation. Now, you won't have to see a probation officer, but you have 2 things you have to do if you don't want your probation revoked and you don't want to serve your jail sentence. 1, you have to violate no laws for the next 6 months. Doesn't sound like that's going to be an issue. It sounds like you try very hard to follow the rules and the law. The other is you have to pay the 408. Do you need some time to pay that, Mr. Patel?
Well, why charge me, Judge?
Because the law says if
That's
you drive without
yeah.
insurance, there's
It's
a minimum fine of $300 and court costs of $108. I could go up to $600, but I'm not going to do that. So $408 you can
that's a lot.
appeal.
That's a
That's a lot.
lot. This
That's
is
what
worse than the insurance itself.
Well, that's what the Kansas legislature who made this law, that's what they set it at, and I have to follow it, and that's what Mr. Regier more times than not recommends. So that's why I'm thinking that would be a reasonable amount today, the minimum 300. I have to order the court costs of 108. I can give you, would 30 days be enough to get it paid? 60 days?
But Judge, I tried to call her and she never returned my
I know,
calls.
I know, but I
Uh,
wasn't the one driving the
while
car.
the insurance was still valid.
Okay, you do have up to 14 days to appeal my decision to the Court of Appeals. If you do, you have to put up a $408 cash bond when you file your appeal. If you don't appeal, you have 14 days to get this paid unless you tell me you need more time.
Yeah, of course, this is ridiculous, ma'am.
About 30
It's
days?
going to cost me, everything is going to so high. I was trying to avoid $134 extra charge. Now you're charging me $400. I mean,
All right, well, I'm not gonna keep battling with you,
it's,
sir. I will give you more time if you need more than 14 days. You need more than 14 days to pay?
I'll take as much time as you give me.
All right, I'll
Because
give you 30
I don't know.
days.
I don't want to pay anything. I'm not supposed
I
to
know
pay.
you don't, and if you don't pay, your probation could be revoked and you could spend 120 days in the county jail. If you don't want to spend 120 days in the county jail, pay it and don't violate
Why?
any more laws.
A decent
And
man like me, why should I spend
Alright.
time in jail, ma'am?
you can talk to an attorney about that, just as I gave you the opportunity to hire an attorney before, sir. As they say, I don't make the laws, I'm just required to enforce them, and that's what I'm trying to do. Mr. Regier, in the interest of time, I did not ask you recommendations. I trust that what I
Can
did
you,
sentence
can you
is,
please lower the cost?
I cannot
Can you-
lower them anymore, but is there anything further, Mr. Regier, you have that you would like to make a record of?
Your Honor, besides thanking both Trooper Herbert and Ms. Panatex for honoring their subpoenas, the state has nothing further in this matter.
And,
Oh.
even this man who's talking to you, I called him on Thursday, he never returned my calls, just like the State Farm agent.
Well,
Two
he
times,
does
even yesterday I
fine.
called,
He's
he never returned my
prosecuting you.
calls.
Keep in mind, he's prosecuting you. He's not your attorney. So he's
No, but I have
probably
to
not
talk to
going
him.
to contact you. All right, I will let you go at this time. This case is in recess. Anyone here on this case alone is
Can you,
excused.
can you give me what did you do? I didn't understand.
All right, listen to
But
what I
can you,
did. Quit talking and listen to what I did, and then
yeah, please tell me one more time what I have to do.
talking.
This
And I
is
keep
not right.
stop talking.
I've
All
done
right.
nothing wrong.
All right, if you want my answer, stop talking. Otherwise, I'm going to adjourn right now. The fine is the minimum allowed by law of $300. The court costs that I'm required to assess are $108. So you owe a total of $408. You have 30 days to pay that. You have a suspended 120-day sentence that you will not have to serve as long as you pay this and violate no laws for the next 6 months. If you want to appeal it, you have to do that on your own through the Kansas Court of Appeals. If you appeal, the clerk has to assess or charge a appeal bond, a supersedious bond of $408 cash when they accept your appeal. Mr. Regier will put all of that in a journal entry, and you can get a copy of that from the clerk of the district court in a few days. Now, if there's nothing further, we are in recess. You are excused to leave these proceedings, Mr. Patel, Ms. Panatex, and Trooper Herbert. Thank you all.
So how many days I have?
30 days to pay.
30 days.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And
Mr. Regier.
before I let you all go, I just happen to think, Jenna, do I need to assess witness fees and do I need to assess witness fees as court costs too?
I'm not sure, Your Honor, but I can find out really quick if you want me to.
Sure.
Your Honor, I reached out to Michelle and she's saying that we do not need to assess those in the court cost.
All right. So everyone is excused from the case today. Thank you all. You may go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you. You may go, sir. And now